Good morning, good afternoon, 5 minutes after 12, 5 minutes late. I apologize to those who are punctual. There was some technical issues that I could not, unfortunately, overcome. I wanted to meet you on Zoom, but I'm now back to the studio on Restream. Anyway, we are with You Change the World today, the weekly live event that sometimes is Wednesday, sometimes it's Thursday. And today is a theme that, again, as you know, is inspired by the coaching that I do every day with leaders, managers, people of all walks of life who have their experience interacting with people, leading people, managing people, having influence on people. This is why changing the world here has a connotation of impact and influence. That your impact and influence has so much magnitude that it can change someone's life. And when it changes someone's life, it changes the world. This is why the title of this program is Do You Change the World? And really, coaching is so transformational that sometimes, this awareness that you can have such impact makes you a different person. And it changed definitely your life and your way of interacting with other people. So this is why I want to emphasize today a topic that is not an easy one, and it's about leadership and ambiguity. It's impossible to get a team motivated and on track with ambiguity. And I'm trying to prove it. I'm going to try to prove it in the next few minutes. And if it resonates with you, it must resonate with most of you that you work with, you work for, or you are yourself someone who maintains ambiguity, uncertainty, does not make decisions very straight, in a straight way, or for reasons that you can explain. Those reasons are usually, I think, um, questionable. And I'm just going to find out a way to, say with a few words what I think about it and what are the effects and the ramifications when someone is leading a team or someone interacts with someone else, even in a family setting, and remains so ambiguous, so uncertain that it creates a lot of things around him or around her. So I'm going to come to this in a few minutes, but I wanted to first say, for the housekeeping side of things, that you can see this always on different channels. You are seeing this on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X Twitter for the social channels that I have. After that, we do the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on Microsoft Podcast, and on Amazon Podcast. And this is giving us the scope that we hope we're reaching of people that can, watch this and participate by putting your comments. You can this from LinkedIn, I think, and from YouTube, and maybe from the other channels as well. And it will show here on if it's the left or the right side for you of the screen. It's right there. And I will not be able to answer the comment directly live, but I will certainly be able to see it like everybody else and try to answer any question or address any comment that you have. Please, I always invite you to give feedback. Of course, feedback is everything. We can see what you mean, what you think, how do you react, how do you approve or disapprove what I say, or can add some value to what I say by sharing your own experience. Okay, so I think we can dive in. Last thing also I want to say is please subscribe to YouTube. It's still very shy. I have a very small channel for YouTube for two reasons. One, as I have very little time to promote the channel. Secondly, I had a team, but this team was a virtual team and got disconnected. Let me down if you want to really know the truth. And I'm looking, of course, for a better way to be assisted by the experts that I need, so to produce this in a better way and to promote it especially. But all I can do at my level is to just invite you and really inspire you, hopefully, to subscribe, because by subscribing, you give us, first of all, a lot of encouragement. And secondly, it gives also a reason to program this in a much more deeper way. Now you can see on the channel of YouTube all the programs that we broadcasted. I think you can see them in all the channels I said, but YouTube for sure, and in a very simple way, because you see all of them at once, and you can select a show that you have missed and you want to, or a topic that you like to to learn from or to just watch. And this is where you can find it on YouTube. And also the website, www.andrepolitzer.com. I think it's the best URL, or coachingpath, path.com. All right, so let's dive in for the next 20 minutes or so. I I talk about this just because just yesterday, and I share the story right here because it's anonymous. But someone was really shared with me the situation of someone who indeed is stuck because of ambiguity. His boss, his boss doesn't clearly designate him for a mission, for a role that he should play. And then someone else comes in, and the boss tells this other person, "Okay, you take care of this. You are in charge of this, or this team reports to you." Now, my client here finds himself not only surprised and shocked, but he was working on the project, and it's taken away from him. What do I talk about with him? I talk about different things that are very human. Memory is a problem. Sometimes when you say things in the air and you just talk in a conversation and you forget about a commitment that you made, then you have to be reminded. So there's two aspects in this communication. One, it's definitely true that his boss, who is a high stake person in a large organization, is ambiguous and maintains himself that way. So we can analyze why. There is different possibilities, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But for this example I'm sharing, it's very typical. I went through this myself a few times, having a boss who purposely, or even a company with a culture of maintaining things ambiguous. And that's called VUCA, right? Everybody now has a very good knowledge of all these, expressions like volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, VUCA, like a culture. And there's companies who maintain it intentionally, because this way we don't really make a commitment. If we're ambiguous, we leave it in the air. There is all room for interpretation. You can interpret whatever you want with it. And that leaves people stuck or in limbo in a way that, in fact, generates, and that's really an automatic, ramification channel here of things that ripple effects of things that happen, like gossip, like interpretations, like competition, like conflicts, frustration, negativity, toxicity. And I can list another 100 if you want. This ambiguity, living especially from a leader, does not make the leader look very good, but does not make the organization very clear. And this lack of clarity obviously gives room for many, many things that people think and keep in the head and in the mind forever. And it works inside, and it buzz and buzz and buzz. This buzz is not a positive one, because there is all kind of things that happen. Someone is going to grab this as an opportunity, or someone is going to be given a responsibility, like the example I just mentioned, when in fact it was already given to someone else. Now, where is the source of this? From the leader's standpoint, what's the source of this? I can only make, assumptions here, but the truth is, there's an algorithm. There's different patterns that are proving that, first and foremost, the main reason, the one that you find the most, that explains why a leader maintains this VUCA culture or is himself or herself ambiguous, is a lack of self-confidence. Because I am not sure. I don't know the information 100%. Or in this reorganization right now, in this transition, I don't have much information. So while I don't have any information, I cannot make decisions. So instead of saying directly to my people, hey, this is cooking right now. It's not in my hands. I don't have the power of decision. And I have not been communicated anything new. since I told you that there will be something happening in the next few weeks, a day off or a reorg, people are going to be reassigned to different other roles. I don't have any details. And if I say that, I say the truth and I make people clear. They have peace of mind that, well, if I don't know and my boss doesn't know, it means I cannot know anything else. And I want to wait until there is something new. And business as usual, and be confident about myself and be confident that the company will do something right, or that my destiny in front of me is not always under my hand only, and that maybe there's a god or something, right? And I should trust my process. I trust that my life has been always going okay, and that I've been always taken care of, let's say, right? For sake of having peace of mind and not worry, because the worry, of course, is not creating positivity and does not really help. But it's a natural thing to get worried when things are unstable, when things are at least announced as being changing and nobody knows what it is about. Because it's usually always taking time for this to unfold and become clear, right? So during this time, again, I repeat, there is the boss, the leader, who maintains himself or herself completely unclear, ambiguous, and it does it's purposely, intentionally, and that creates all kind of problems. So that's one thing. The other is that person does know that there is definitely something about the self confidence. I'm never confident about making a decision. And because of that, I'm going to maintain this ambiguity. I'm going to leave it to other people to make their own interpretation, but I'm not going to clarify anything. I'm not going to do it. And it is the way I am, and it's the way I'm going to do it. While this leader is doing this, we're wasting an incredible amount of energy and time, and it's really wasted. So, who can come back to this and say, "Hey, boss, you cannot leave us like this. You can't say to me this or that and say something else to someone else, and then for both of us now it creates a problem because we don't know what you mean, right? And we're going to have a conflict, or we're going to be territorial. Territorial. You know what I mean by that? In an organization, territory is really sacrosanct. You're going to have to be very careful about keeping your territory. Another example: AI, artificial intelligence in organizations is a new topic, still new. And there is all kind of people who say, I'm in charge of AI. I'm the one who makes decision on AI. I'm the one who is the influencer on AI. I'm the expert on AI. Instead of saying, hey, 1 second, it's a huge, huge, huge topic, AI. We are going to have a transformation, a technology transformation like we had before. Like we went, with the 2.0, if you remember, the year 2000 came up. There was a huge, huge problem. People thought that by going to the 2.0, all the systems will be outdated. So they had to be preventive about it, and people became the expert of the 2.0 coming up in 2000 when it was 99 or 98. And in organizations, everybody was trying to take that territory. So it was kind of really a race, totally unnecessary, right? Unnecessary. And if it's AI, the same thing happens. We are in the territory, and I want to own it. I want to be the official stakeholder with my title, probably a C there, a chief, AI officer, or GA, or it's going to fall under a C, a digital officer, or a C, technology officer. But whatever it's going to be, someone has to be, of course, the main stakeholder. But then again, because it's ambiguous, and maybe the leadership is ambiguous, they don't even know what they're talking about. That's also ignorance that can be there, or just lack of information, but it will be ambiguous, and it will make all these people think that they own AI, or this one wants AI, and it's going to start politicking and do all kind of manipulations and maneuvering at the top, or a little lower than the top, and start really creating a lot of confusion. This is what I'm trying to say. If you maintain things ambiguous, all the different people involved and are around in the circle are going to move towards the wrong directions, and especially have the wrong attitude and the wrong mindset. It's not growth mindset. It's fixed mindset. I'm fixed in my mindset that I need to own this territory. I'm going to fight for it. I'm fixed in my mindset that the way it functions in organizations and in the politicking organization is that I have to politicking. I to have to use politics. I have to start being maneuvering and lying and all kind of things that I'm going to do that are going to be very toxic and very negative, create anger, frustration, jealousy. That's the source of conflict. All of this is unnecessary. So can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine what I'm talking about here? A leader that is uncertain and has this pattern of remaining ambiguous all the time because he lacks confidence in himself or herself, that he doesn't know. And I'm going to say he for my example, because I have to be too careful with all these things about gender and everything. So I just, you see, I'm very cautious. It's a he, she. I don't make any exceptions or, any privilege, preference on a he, on a she. But I have to be he and she because otherwise I'm going to be told that I am not equal. So equity, equity, equity. And I am in my mind, in my conscience, in my education, in who I am. My DNA is to be totally inclusive. But if I say something wrong or if I use the word that is not now the right word, I'm going to be accused of being, and that's another topic, segregating and privileging. And it's not the case. So that's also important in this ambiguity situation. We are in a very confusing world today. It's complicated. A matrix organization is a complex organization, if I talk about a matrix organization. And it's not getting simpler. So if I'm a leader, a manager, I don't have any information and there is uncertainty, how do I manage my team while there is all this uncertainty and all these things in limbo, right? We are in a transition. It's a status quo. Whatever it is an intermediary, an interim situation that is undefined, where people do not have information and where everybody's wondering what's going to happen to them, respectively, individually, or collectively. And this lack of information maintains uncertainty. And in this uncertainty, the leaders who don't know think that the best choice is to maintain it ambiguous. When to just say, I don't know, I don't have information, will in fact give all the sense that people need to get that clearly we don't have a decision made yet, and we just have to do and go by our lives and do business as usual, and keep our faith and integrity to the company and to ourselves, integrity to ourselves, that we are on track and we do what we have to do without any ambiguity. Now I'm going to the next part for the next 5 minutes. It is the actionable item of what I should do as a leader to avoid being ambiguous. This is definitely crucial for everybody to understand that the clearer you are, the more you exaggerate your clarity. I'm talking about exaggerating it, making very sure that you understood, getting acknowledgement that the people that you are addressing get your message, getting after that, once we agree on something, a validation of what we agreed upon in writing, something that will in fact seal, and nothing is forever, but at least if a decision was made that I designated you as responsible, as accountable for this task or for this role, this is you and no one else. And I'll be behind you, the leader, to make the announcements and communicate clearly to everyone officially that the person in charge and who is accountable for this and will make other people accountable in the team is George. And George is the guy who is in charge. I'm saying something clear. I'm writing it down in a memo. It's agreed upon. We made the decision. I'm clear with it. I can go to bed tonight. Clear. Me, the leader, and the person I designated can also go to bed clear. And all the people that are in the teams very clear and say, hey, my gosh, I'm in a track here that is clear. I know exactly who is leading this, who is the guy in charge and who is accountable. What are we doing when we're not allowing this to happen? We are destructive and we invite toxicity, interpretations, gossip, assumptions, conflicts, jealousy, all these terrible human fibers that we have in ourselves that are inactivated, enabled when ambiguity maintains itself as the line of leadership. And I think again, it's related to people, especially leaders, that are where they are for a reason or another, and they may be even the most competent people to be the leader in their position, but there is one shortcoming here, very big gap, and that's the person has self-confidence issues, self-esteem issues, personal. It's a personal to them, and they never can make a decision clearly, or they cannot communicate something clearly about it, something that is important to the people to know, or for the team to function, or for the company to function when it's the number one, the CEO. All these people who have influence need to be clear about what they say, what they do, what they say, and especially when they decide or when they designate other people and involve other people in their own circle, right? And all the tasks that are involved in this. That's what I mean by pushing off, definitely getting rid of ambiguity and subscribe to clarity. When you can't, you say you can't. That's clear. But when you don't know, you don't know. And that's clear. You say it, you write it. I don't know what you say, but you write it. You make sure that people can hang in there because you also are in the same boat. You also don't know, and you also hang in there. So when we are all in the same boat and we're all in this for together for the same purpose and the same mission, it's clear to everyone. There is no ambiguity. We form a team. We form something that is really united, an harmony, an harmony with a capital H, because we are all clear about what you expect from me, what I expect from you. We are clear and crystal clear. Now, I added the word exaggeration because I think that when you communicate something to the team, you can exaggerate the clarity of it. And that's the acknowledgement part. That's the validation part. I want to make sure that my message is received. So I'm going to be like a little bit pushy by saying, hey, I want to make sure you understand me. Can you repeat after me what I just said? Can you repeat to everybody the role that you play, that I gave you, so that everybody knows that it's your role? And I will completely endorse you in you declaring and sharing what your role is in this particular mission. And when I know that you are like that and you have made your point, I know one thing, that my leadership here is, as for one of its highest value, to be understood, to communicate efficiently, and to be truthful, authentic, direct, crystal clear, and not ambiguous. All the contrary of this VUCA trend that we have maintained in high tech and in other part of the world, but it's always coming from complicated people and complicated organization. Complexity is not a friend. It's something that we use sometimes to cover something or to cover ourselves. And all this protection and all this artificial protection that we're creating all the time is just an outcome, a byproduct, if you will, of confidence, of self-confidence that is lacking and makes this person ambiguous and unclear and not a good leader, not a liked person. It's not, nobody likes this guy or this person who is a leader and does not communicate clearly what he or she expects from me or from this team or from this company. And in the board of directors, also the same. In wherever you sit down there and people make decisions, and you are an agent of complexity and ambiguity, you should go back home, should get just meditate, listen to good music, have good fragrance around, and do a spa for yourself in the room and the space. Relax, relax, and explore and self explore yourself, just try to see where the lack is so that you can come back now to the space with other people, be an inspiring leader, a clear leader, and a communicative leader. And when I say I don't know, or I say I'm not informed yet, so you're going to have to hang in there with me. And we are both in the same boat. Both don't know what's happening about this reorganization, what's about this buyout, what about this new company coming in, or this investor coming in that is maybe offensive, or we don't know nothing. We just have a little bit of an idea, but then there is rumors and all of this. It's uncertain. It's ambiguous. Doesn't help. We can't maintain that status of ambiguity for a long time. Or it's we justify it and we say we all don't know what's going on. And then we are all in the same boat and we all wait. But while we wait, we can be productive. We can have a growth mindset, positive mindset, not be suspicious. Not all this ambiguity creates and generates. Okay, I hope I made my point, but it's very important that we try to learn that we have a rescue to ambiguity, and is to be really much more mindful of the other person's assumptions and expectations. That the lack of clarity will make that person feel bad and will create a very bad atmosphere, a very bad, energy among the team or among the company, and all the people that are affected by this VUCA and this lack of clarity. There is nothing good about designing this intentionally and making this a culture that the company should always, navigate in the cloud. Cloud meaning in the darkness, if you will. I talk of the cloud, of dark cloud, right? Or just unclarity. So thank you for being with me today. I hope we'll see you next week on another theme. And in 2 weeks from now, we'll have also a guest here. If you go, you'll see our announcement for the show that we'll have in 2 weeks. Fascinating, a fascinating guest, and someone that will have live from the UK and here in New York. I will be here with this fantastic guest, and invite you already to book that Thursday, I think, at 10 a.m. And it's going to be the 14th